in a room where the moonlight barely breathes. She folds up her heart in her long sleeves. No one hears the storm behind her eyes. No one sees the way a quiet soul survives. She smiled like the morning to everyone she knew, painted on the sunshine, hiding all the blue. Carried every whisper like a stone inside her chest. Gave the world a kindness, kept herself the rest. And when the lights went out, she fell apart somehow. But even when she broke, she never made a sound. She was the girl who cried in silence, tears falling where nobody could see. A heart full of thunder behind the quiet, a lonely song without a melody. She was the girl who cried in silence, drowning underneath a gentle smile, hoping someone might look closer and stay with her a while. Her diary, a page stained with midnight rain, letters to the person she was trying to remain. She learned to say I'm fine like a practiced little prayer, but every word was empty in the cold and hollow air. And when the world moved on, she stayed where she belonged, inside a hurting silence, pretending to be strong. She was the girl who cried in silence, tears falling where nobody could see. A heart full of thunder behind the quiet, a lonely song without a melody. She was the girl who cried in silence, drowning underneath a gentle smile, hoping someone might look closer and stay with her a while. Oh, she was not asking for saving, just a hand to hold through the night. Not a hero, not an answer, just a voice saying you'll be alright. And if you see her in the distance, with her eyes turned toward the rain, tell her silence is not weakness, and she does not have to hide her pain. She was the girl who cried in silence, but her tears began to find the sea. A heart once buried in the quiet started beating wild and free. She was the girl who cried in silence, now she whispers to the dawn. I am still here, I am still breathing, I have been strong all along. In a room where the morning finally shines, she lets the light touch all the broken lines. No one heals in silence all alone, so she opens up her heart and finds her way back home. I kept a candle burning in a room he never entered. I held the silence gently, like it was something tender. He had a way of leaving before he said goodbye. I learned to read the distance in the corners of his eyes. I folded all my wishes into shapes he'd understand, but every time I reached out, he slipped right through my hands. I called it patience, I called it grace, I called it love when I disappeared without a trace. I loved him more than myself, gave him my heart from the highest shelf, broke every piece just to keep him whole, lost my reflection, saving his soul. I loved him more than I should, stayed in the fire because I thought I could. Now I'm alone with the truth I felt. I loved him more than myself. I wore storms like weather, let them bruise beneath my skin, apologize for crying when I was the one caving in. I made a home from almost, built a dream on maybe. He called me his forever, but never learned to stay with me. I called it loyal, I called it strong, I called it love, but I was lonely all along. I loved him more than myself, gave him my heart from the highest shelf, broke every piece just to keep him whole, lost my reflection, saving his soul. I loved him more than I should, stayed in the fire because I thought I could. Now I'm alone with the truth I felt. I loved him more than myself. And if he ever misses me, let him miss the girl I was, the one who gave too easily and called the hurting love. I'm gathering the ashes of a life I left behind, learning that a broken heart can still belong to mine. I loved him more than myself, gave him my heart from the highest shelf, broke every piece just to keep him whole, lost my reflection, saving his soul. I loved him more than I should, stayed in the fire because I thought I could. Now I'm alone with the truth I felt. I loved him more than myself. I loved him more than myself. But I'm coming back, I'm coming back to myself. In the corner of a crowded room, She held the night like a fading moon. The music played, but no one knew her heart was breaking in every move. She wore a dress the color of rain, spinning slow through the ache and pain. Every step was a memory of someone she could no longer see. And the lights came down like falling stars. She smiled to hide the deepest scars. No one heard what her silence said when she danced with ghosts inside her head. She danced with tears in her eyes underneath the lonely lights, turning sorrow into grace with a broken heart and a brave face. She danced with tears in her soul, holding on while letting go. Every spin, every whispered prayer. She was lost, but she was there. He used to hold her through this song. Now the melody feels too long. His empty chair, his favorite place, still had the shadow of his face. So she closed her eyes and reached for him through the dark where the memories swim. For one more night, for one last chance, she met him there inside the dance. She danced with tears in her eyes underneath the lonely lights, turning sorrow into grace with a broken heart and a brave face. She danced with tears in her soul, holding on while letting go. Every spin, every whispered prayer. She was lost, but she was there. Oh, love can't leave without goodbye, like a bird that forgets the sky. But in a chest, the music stayed, a fragile hymn that would not fade. She turned through the pain like flowers in the rain. She danced with tears in her eyes like the sea beneath the night. Every heartbreak, every scar shone like candlelight from afar. She danced with tears in her soul, learning how to lose control. Every step became a prayer. She was broken, but still there. When the last note disappeared, she kissed the dark and faced her fear. And though the room had lost its sound, she kept dancing without him now. The room still remembers her name, but nobody calls it anymore. She kept his letters in a shoebox underneath the bed. Every word was once a heartbeat, now they echo in her head. She wore a sweater through the winter, like a promise on her skin. But the warmth began to vanish when goodbye came walking in. She smiled for the strangers, she lied to her friends, said healing was coming, but it never came then. Love left her empty, with nothing to hold, a house full Now love left her empty, and empty has a name. She sees a shadow in the hallway when the midnight starts to fall. Hears the ghost of their old laughter breaking softly through the walls. She tried to drink away the silence, tried to pray away the pain, but every tear that touched her pillow only whispered him again. She danced with the darkness, she slept with regret, kept asking the ceiling, how much can one heart forget? Love left her empty, with nothing to hold, a house full of memories, a heart growing cold. She gave him forever, he gave her the blame. Now love left her empty, and empty has a name. His sorrow had footsteps, he walked through her door. His heartbreak had hands, he kept reaching for more. She wanted a reason, she wanted the truth, but love took her softness and buried her youth. Love left her empty, with nothing to hold, a sky without starlight, a story untold. She gave him forever, he left her the rain. Now love left her empty, and empty remains. The room still remembers her name, but she does not answer anymore. The clock kept breathing in the hall, like it knew I'd fall apart. Your shadow never touched the wall, but it still stayed in my heart. I wore the dress you used to love, the blue one from last spring. I lit the candle by the window, like it could summon anything. I heard the rain ask where you were, I had no answer then. Just watched the streetlights blur and burn, and checked my phone again. Every car that passed outside made my heart beat lie to me. Every minute stretched so wide, it swallowed what we used to be. That was the night he forgot me, the night the stars looked away, the night I learned a promise can fade without a sound to say. That was the night he forgot me, while I remembered everything. His laugh, his hands, his midnight calls, and the way he said my name in spray. Saved his chair across from mine. The dinner turned to stone, two glasses waiting side by side, one untouched, one alone. I told myself he must be lost, or caught beneath the rain. But truth came softly through the door and sat beside my pain. I didn't scream, I didn't call, I only let the silence grow. Sometimes the hardest way to fall is when nobody knows. My name in spray. Maybe love is not a fire, maybe it's a trembling light. One heart guarding every ember, one heart gone into the night. Maybe I was just a chapter he had already closed, while I kept reading every line, like the ending could be postponed. That was the night he forgot me, the night I finally knew you can't be holding on to someone who already let go of you. That was the night he forgot me, and I forgot how to breathe. I kept his memory like a photograph. He left the frame with ease. The candle died, the rain moved on, the dawn came cold and gray, and somewhere in the quiet room I let his name decay. Pretty girl in the mirror light, smiling just to prove she's fine. She paints her lips like sunrise, but her eyes look like the rain. Everybody says she's perfect, nobody asks about her pain. She walks through crowded rooms like a ghost in borrowed gold. Pretty girl with a diamond face and a lonely, lonely soul. They call her lucky, they call her bright, but she cries softly when she turns off the light. Pretty girl, lonely soul, holding on where no one knows. All the love she gives away never seems to come back home. Pretty girl, don't disappear. Your heart is louder than your tears. Underneath that perfect glow lives a pretty girl with a lonely soul. With a lonely soul. She answers text with laughter, and she stares down at her phone, wishing someone saw the silence in the spaces left alone. She keeps 1,000 secrets in a room nobody sees. Wears a dress like a promise, but she's falling at the seams. They call her magic, they call her strong, but she's been breaking for far too long. Pretty girl, lonely soul, holding on where no one knows. All the love she gives away never seems to come back home. Pretty girl, don't disappear. Your heart is louder than your tears. Underneath that perfect glow lives a pretty girl with a lonely soul. One day she'll stop apologizing for the storm inside her chest. One day she'll learn her broken pieces still deserve a place to rest. And every scar she hides so well will shine like stars star she never saw. Pretty girl, you're still a sunrise, even with a lonely soul. Pretty girl, lonely soul. You are more than what they know. All the love you gave away will find a way to lead you home. Stay right here. There is beauty in your tears. Underneath that fragile glow lives a pretty girl with a braver, lonely soul. Pretty girl in the morning light, still here after the longest night. I gave my heart away to someone who could not stay. The room still knows your shadow. It lingers by the door. I talk to empty silence like you're coming back once more. I fold the sheets beside me where your warmth used to sleep. But every little memory cuts deeper when I breathe. I try to hold the pieces, but they slip through my hands. I built a home inside you, you left it where it stands. I gave my heart away and watched it break in two. I kept the pain for me and saved the love for you. I gave my heart away to a dream that couldn't stay. Now I'm lost inside the silence of the words you didn't say. Your name is on the window, in the rain I can't erase. I see you in the strangers with the almost familiar face. I wear your old blue sweater like it still belongs to us, but the threads are only holding what became of broken trust. I try to call it healing, but I'm just getting used to waking up with nothing where I once woke up with you. I gave my heart away and watched it break in two. I kept the pain for me and saved the love for you. I gave my heart away to a dream that couldn't stay. Now I'm lost inside the silence of the words you didn't say. Maybe love was never meant to be gentle in my hands. Maybe I was only holding what I couldn't understand. And if you ever miss me in the quiet after dark, know I'm still here collecting every piece of my heart. I gave my heart away and watched it break in two. I kept the pain for me and saved the love for you. I gave my heart away to a dream that couldn't stay. Now I'm lost inside the silence of the words you didn't say. I gave my heart away. I gave my heart away, and I'm still learning how to live without it now. The room still keeps your shadow where the morning used to shine. I thought I knew your heartbeat, but I was reading mine. You wore the sun so gently, like it never had to try. Every laugh was like a promise, every tear you hid was dry. I held the door wide open for the truth to wander through, but you painted all the silence in a brighter shade of blue. I was dancing with a ghost in the hallway of your eyes. I believed the sweetest story was the one you kept disguised. Her smile was a lie, but it looked just like forever, like a soft September sky before it breaks into weather. I gave her all my life, she gave me pretty reasons why. Now I'm learning how to cry, 'cause her smile was a lie. There were cracks beneath the laughter, there were storms behind the calm. She could turn a simple whisper into shelter in my arms. But the nights became much colder, and the truth began to show. All the love I thought was growing was a flower made of snow. I kept reaching for the warmth in a flame that wasn't there. She could look right through my hurting, like she never learned to care. Her smile was a lie, but it looked just like forever, like a soft September sky before it breaks into weather. I gave her all my life, she gave me pretty reasons why. Now I'm learning how to cry, 'cause her smile was a lie. Maybe she was broken too, maybe hiding was her way. Maybe every golden word was something she could never say. But I was standing in the wreckage, calling love by her name. And even after all the ashes, I still miss the flame. Her smile was a lie, but I held it like a letter from the heart I thought was mine, saying pain would make us better. I gave her all my life, she left me with the reasons why. Now the moon knows how I cried, 'cause her smile was a lie. The room still keeps your shadow where the morning used to shine. I thought I knew your heartbeat, but I was only hearing mine. Moonlight on the chapel floor, petals dying by the door. I held a promise in my hands, but promises don't understand. I woke up with a trembling heart, white lace falling in the dark. Mama said I looked like spring, but I couldn't feel a single thing. Your note was folded by the bed, every word still in my head. You said love was not enough, like leaving me with some kind of love. And all the guests were waiting while my whole world was breaking. I smiled until I couldn't breathe and fell apart behind the screen. I'm crying in a white dress with mascara on my hands. I was ready for forever. You were already making plans to disappear like summer rain, to leave me standing in the pain. Now every dream is stained. I guess I'm crying in a white dress. The church bells never got to ring. No choir found a song to sing. My bouquet hit the marble stair like all the love that wasn't there. Your mother couldn't meet my eyes. My father swallowed down his pride, and I kept looking at the door like you might come back anymore. But silence walked the aisle and sat beside me for a while. I heard my heartbeat come undone in a room built for two as one. I'm crying in a white dress with mascara on my hands. I was ready for forever. You were already making plans to disappear like summer rain, to leave me standing in the pain. Now every dream is stained. I guess I'm crying in a white dress. Did you think I'd hate you? Did you think I'd be strong? Did you think the world would keep on turning like nothing had gone wrong? I don't know how to take this off. I don't know who I am. I was almost someone's future. Now I'm just where we began. I'm crying in a white dress on the floor where a bell should stand. I was ready for forever. You let go of my hand. Now the roses bruised to gray, and the daylight fades away. Love was real, but love confessed it couldn't save this white dress. Moonlight on the chapel floor. I don't wait there anymore, but some nights I still confess I'm crying in a white dress. I still keep a shadow in the hallway light, like a ghost that knows my name. And every time I try to say goodbye, I whisper it the same. He came in quiet like the rain, no thunder, just a slow mistake. Left flowers blooming in my chest, then watched them bend until they broke. I knew the ending from the start, but held the match against my heart. Some people burn and walk away, some leave the ashes where they stay. And I hated how I needed him, hated how I stayed. But lonely never hurt as much as loving him that way. He was my favorite pain, the sweetest kind of bruise, the prayer I made in vain, the love I couldn't lose. He was the storm I named, the wound I caught aflame. I knew he'd leave me ruined, He was my favorite pain. I learned his lies by candlelight, soft as silk and sharp as knives. He'd say forever with his eyes, then disappear by morning time. I saved his voice in old voicemails, like broken glass inside a shell. Press play when I was feeling weak, just to hear the hurt still speak. And I hated how I missed him, hated all the blame, but every tear remembered him, like heaven knew his name. He was my favorite pain, the sweetest kind of bruise, the prayer I made in vain, the love I couldn't lose. He was the storm I named, the wound I called a flame. I knew he'd leave me ruined, but I loved him just the same. He was my favorite pain. Maybe I was addicted to almost being loved. Maybe I kept bleeding just to feel enough. But maybe in another life he stays and I don't break. But in this one I held him close and called the ache my fate. He was my favorite pain, the kiss that felt like rain, the reason I kept falling when I should have walked away. He was the song I sang with heartbreak in my veins. I knew he'd never save me, but I loved him just the same. He was my favorite pain. My favorite pain. I still keep a shadow in the hallway light, but tonight I let it fade. The clock kept breathing in the hall, a lonely shadow on the wall. She held a letter turning old, with words that never warmed the cold. She wore a sweater every night, like it could bring him back to life. The porch light burned through rain and snow, for someone who would never show. She marked the days with trembling hands, drew hearts beside his empty plans. And every car that passed the gate made her stand up and whisper, wait. But silence has a cruel way of sounding just like hope. And every prayer she gave away came back with no envelope. She waited for nothing, but nothing ever came. She cried into the sunrise, still calling out his name. She saved a seat beside her, kept love inside a frame. She waited for nothing, and nothing stayed the same. The neighbors learned to look away when she dressed up on Saturdays, a ribbon tied into her hair for footsteps that were never there. She kept his picture by the bed, replayed the last thing that he said. I'll come back when the summer ends, but summer's ended again and again. The flowers on the wind but nothing ever came. She cried into the sunrise, still calling out his name. She saved a seat beside her, kept love inside a frame. She waited for nothing, and nothing stayed the same. Then walked into the morning rain, with no one left to explain. She waited for nothing, till nothing set her free. She buried all the promises beneath the willow tree. No footsteps in the distance, no ghost inside the flame. She waited for nothing, but she won't wait again. The clock stopped breathing in the hall, no lonely shadow on the wall. The porch light slept without a glow, for someone who would never know. In the quiet of the midnight, I still whisper his name, like a prayer with no answer, like a candle in the rain. I set another place at the table, though I know he won't come home. I keep his picture by the window, so I don't feel alone. The walls still hold his laughter, the sheets still know his skin. I tell myself it's over, but my heart lets him in. Every shadow looks like memory, every silence sounds like goodbye. I try to sleep without him, but the moon keeps asking why. My heart still calls him, even when I try to let go. It reaches through the darkness to a love I used to know. My heart still calls him through the tears I never show, and every beat reminds me I'm still holding on alone. I wear the smile he left me, like a dress that doesn't fit. I say I'm getting stronger, but I don't believe it yet. His favorite song is playing in a room he'll never see, and I break a little softer with each broken melody. Every doorway feels like waiting, every dream still brings him near. I reach out in the morning, but he always disappears. My heart still calls him, even when I try to let go. He reaches through the darkness to a love I used to know. My heart still calls close the distance. Maybe pain will learn to fade. Maybe someday I'll stop searching for the ghost he left in me. But tonight I'm still pretending that the door might open wide, and he'll say he never meant it when he chose to say goodbye. My heart still calls him, like a storm beneath my skin, like a voice across forever, begging him to come back in. My heart still calls him, though I know he's really gone, and I keep loving the echo of a man who moved on. In the quiet of the midnight, I still whisper his name. My heart still calls him, and he never calls the same. I used to glow when you walked in. Now I flinch at the sound of the wind. You left your shadow in every room, a little cold, a little perfume. I learned to smile with a shaking hand, pretend the ashes were just sand. You called it love when it felt like chains, danced in the fire, then blamed the flames. I gave you softness, I gave you grace. You gave me silence and an empty place, and I kept asking what I did wrong, while you kept proving I was never strong. But look at me now, in this mirror alone, trying to find the girl I used to know. I am the woman you broke, the one who cried when nobody woke, the one who carried your goodbye like a stone and built a shelter out of being alone. I am the heart you left open wide, the storm you made and then denied. But even shattered glass can catch the light. I am the woman you broke tonight. I still remember the way you swore you'd never leave like the ones before, but promises turn into ghosts at dawn, and I was the last one holding on. I changed my voice just to keep the peace, lost little pieces you never could see. You took my laughter and called it yours, then left me bleeding behind closed doors. I won't say I'm healed, I won't say I'm whole. Some nights your memory still takes control, but I won't crawl back, I won't lose my name. I'm more than the wreckage you left in the rain. I am the woman you broke, but I'm not the ending you thought you wrote. I carry the cracks, but I'm still my own, learning to breathe in a house of bones. I am the heart that survived the knife, the faded spark that is choosing life, and even shattered glass can catch the light. I am the woman you broke, but I'm still alive. I used to glow when you walked in. Now I glow when I leave again. I keep the lights low, so I don't have to see the stranger in the mirror, staring back at me. I used to laugh like summer, like nothing could go wrong. Now every day feels heavy, and every night feels long. I used to chase the sunrise with fire in my chest. Now I'm counting all the reasons I can't seem to rest. Somewhere on the road, I left my heart behind. I kept on getting older, but lost that peace of mind. I miss the old me, the one who still believed, the one who wasn't broken by everything she'd seen. I miss the old me, the light inside her eyes, before the world got colder, before she learned to hide. Oh, I miss the old me tonight. I saved old photographs like proof that I was real, smiling at the camera before I learned to feel. Every little heartbreak, every quiet goodbye turned me into someone I barely recognize. And I don't blame the seasons for changing all the leaves, but I wonder who I'd be now if life was kind to me. I miss the old me, the one who still believed, the one who wasn't broken by everything she'd seen. I miss the old me, the light inside her eyes, before the world got colder, before she learned to hide. Oh, I miss the old me tonight. Is she still somewhere inside me, waiting to come home? Or did I leave her crying in a place I'll never know? I'd hold her if I found her, tell her she was enough, before the years convinced her she had to earn all love. I miss the old me, the one who dreamed out loud, the one who danced through thunder and never feared the clouds. I miss the old me, but maybe she's not gone. Maybe she's been sleeping and I've been holding on. Oh, I miss the old me, but I'll find her in the dawn. I keep the lights low, but I'm learning how to see a little of the old me still living inside me. Moonlight falls on an empty street where your shadow used to walk with me. Silent stars know what I hide, every tear I never cried. I still hear your voice in the midnight air, like a fading song that is barely there. Your picture stays by my bedside flame, but the room feels cold when I whisper your name. I try to smile when the morning came, but every sunrise feels the same. A little less gold, a little more blue, a world without you. I'm crying tears under the moonlight, holding memories too tight. Every heartbeat calls you home, but I wake up here alone. I'm drowning softly in the silence, lost inside this endless night. Since you left my arms too soon, I leave my tears under the moon. The rain on the window knows my pain. It taps your name again and again. I keep your letters in a wooden box with all the dreams that time forgot. I tell myself I'll be alright, then I break apart in the pale blue light. A little less strong, a little more true, still reaching for you. I'm crying tears under the moonlight, holding memories too tight. Every heartbeat calls you home, but I wake up here alone. I'm drowning softly in the silence, lost inside this endless night. Since you left my arms too soon, I leave my tears under the moon. Maybe love doesn't disappear, maybe it's whispering somewhere near. Maybe the sky keeps every goodbye in silver clouds where angels cry. I'm crying tears under the moonlight, holding memories too tight. Every heartbeat calls you home, but I wake up here alone. I'm drowning softly in the silence, lost inside this endless night. Since you left my arms too soon, I leave my tears under the moon. Moonlight falls and I close my eyes. I almost feel you by my side. If love can live where dreams are strewn, meet me in tears under the moon. Rain on the window, silence in the room. She held on to shadows like flowers never bloomed. She gave him every sunrise, kept nothing for herself, put her dreams in quiet boxes on a dusty wooden shelf. She smiled through all the breaking, said her love was worth the pain. But every time he walked away, she washed him back with rain. And nobody saw the night she cried, with both hands on her heart, trying to keep the pieces close while falling apart. She loved too deeply, she burned too bright, gave him the stars and lost her own light. kept his old excuses like letters in a drawer. Read them when she missed him, then hated him more. Her friends all tried to warn her, but love made her blind. She heard what she wanted and left truth behind. Now the mirror knows her secrets, and the pillow knows her name. She whispers she is tired of calling her love flame. She loved too deeply, she burned too bright, gave him the stars and lost her own light. She hoped too softly, held on too long. She made him a home, but he never belonged. Oh, she loved too deeply and drowned in the feeling. She loved too deeply while he was leaving. If love is a river, why did it pull her down? If love is forever, why was he never around? She prayed for an answer to fall from the sky, but all that came down was another goodbye. She loved too deeply, she burned too bright, gave him the stars and lost her own light. She hoped too softly, held on too long. She made him a home, but he never belonged. Oh, she loved too deeply, with nothing left for healing. She loved too deeply, and he kept leaving. Rain on the window, silence in the room. She learned love can wither when only one heart blooms. The room went quiet, like the walls already knew. I held my breath there, waiting for the truth. I asked if there was something still worth holding on. He stared down at the floorboards like his heart was already gone. I searched his eyes for mercy, for a reason to believe, but all the love I prayed for slipped away from me. And I said, please don't leave me. Tell me this is just a storm. But the silence felt so heavy, and his hands were not warm. Goodbye was his answer. No tears in his eyes, just a cold little whisper underneath the porch light. I gave him my forever, he gave me one last line. Goodbye was his answer, and it broke this heart of mine. The coffee's still on the counter, his jacket still by the door, but the house don't feel like home now, not the way it did before. I keep replaying the moment like a song I can't turn down. How love can leave so softly, yet still make the loudest sound. And I said, say you're sorry, say there's something my mind. Maybe he was tired, maybe I laughed too loud. Maybe dreams turn into ashes when they fall from the clouds. But I would have fought the darkness, I would have carried the pain. He didn't ask for shelter, he just walked out in the rain. Goodbye was his answer. No reason, no fight, just the end of our story. In the middle of the night, I gave him my forever. He left it all behind. Goodbye was his answer, and it broke this heart of mine. Now every door that closes sounds just like his name. Goodbye was his answer, and I'm still asking why. The rain still knows your name. It taps it on my window pane. I kept your letters in a drawer beside the dreams we had before. Every word still cuts the same, like ashes spelling out your name. I wore your sweater through the cold, a little piece of what I couldn't hold. But warmth can turn to lonely fire when every memory calls me liar. I gave you all the light I had, you left me with the dark. I thought your love would heal my heart, but my love became a scar. My love became a scar, written where the broken feelings are. I tried to wish upon your star, but it faded out too far. I still reach for who you were. In the silence I still heard you were my home, my prayer, my war. Now my love became a scar. I passed the places we once knew, they feel like strangers without you. The coffee shop, the corner street, still echo with your leaving feet. I learned to smile when people ask, I hide the thunder, wear the mask. But every night when lights go low, I fall apart when no one knows. Maybe time will soften pain, maybe skies will clear again. But some goodbyes don't disappear, they learn to live beneath the tears. And if your name becomes the rain, I'll let it fall, I'll feel the ache. 'Cause every wound that love has made is proof I loved you all the way. My love became a scar, written where the broken feelings are. I tried to wish upon your star, but it faded out too far. I still reach for who you were. In the silence I still heard you were my home, my prayer, my war. Now my love became a scar. The rain still knows your name, but I don't answer it the same. I carry you from where we are, a fading love, a quiet scar. The room still knows his name, though I whisper it less somehow. I folded up his old blue sweater, the one he wore when nights got cold. I found a note behind the mirror from a love I couldn't hold. The coffee cup he used on Sundays still sits waiting by the sink, and every little ordinary thing gives me too much time to think. I tell myself I'm healing, then I see him in a crowd. My heart forgets the leaving, starts breaking out loud. Somebody else holds him now, somebody else hears his dreams, somebody else gets the morning light that used to fall on me. Somebody else knows his smile when the world is worn and down, and I keep loving an empty place while somebody else holds him now. I saw a picture on a Friday. His hand was wrapped around a hand. He looked the way he used to look at me before goodbye became the plan. I wanted to be angry, but the truth cut soft and deep. He finally found a safer heart than the one I couldn't keep. I hope she knows his silence doesn't mean he feels no pain. I hope she keeps him laughing when the sky forgets the rain. Somebody else holds him now, somebody else hears his dreams, somebody else gets the morning light that used to fall on me. Somebody else knows his smile when the world is worn and down, and I keep loving an empty place while somebody else holds him Maybe love is not a promise, maybe love is letting go. Maybe I was just a chapter in a book I'll never know, but I still keep the door half open, like he'll turn around somehow, though the ending's already spoken. Somebody else holds him now. Somebody else holds him now, somebody else hears his dreams, somebody else gets the morning light that used to fall on me. Somebody else knows his smile when the world is worn and down, and I keep loving an empty place while somebody else holds him now. I loved him then, I love him still, but love don't always know how to stay where it belongs. Somebody else holds him